If you're one of those people that doesn't shoot does, you might be making a huge mistake. And judging by how many people give us crap for shooting does, it feels like there's a lot of misinformation, and in this video, we're going to set the record straight on doe management. We're going to go into the three main benefits of doe management. One, more exciting ruts. The number one killer of rut activity is too many does. The second is around buck health and having your bucks hit peak maturity and peak growth at the appropriate times rather than maxing out early. And the third benefit is better carrying capacity and social pressure management on your properties, which allows a better balance of bucks and does. Let's first go into social pressure. If you're seeing mostly does during your hunts and on your trail cameras, then you probably have the majority of does occupying your property. When you have the majority of does occupying your property, there's only so much space, food, cover, water that a property can manage to hold a certain number of deer. And if those does are taking up the majority of that space, now all of a sudden you don't have any room for bucks. It's simple. If you don't have any space, the rest of the deer just spread out. They go different places. Therefore, you don't see those deer on your property. So making space in your herd for more deer opens up spots where a buck may move in, or a young buck, as it matures, may not move out because of social pressure and stick around on your property. In the spots where we've concentrated on killing does, we've gotten more pictures of mature bucks than in any of the other spots, just like in this picture here. Next, let's go into rut activity. Like I said, the number one killer of rut activity is too many does. We did a little bit of an experiment, and we focused on some properties shooting does, and other properties we just let it be. And what we saw was we consistently saw better rut activity in the spots where we shot does than in the spots where we didn't shoot does. If you want to have exciting ruts, you have to shoot does and have the right balance of bucks and does. I go into that topic in much more detail in this video that's going to come up here at the above, and I'm going to link to it at the end, so make sure you watch that to get more details. Now let's talk about how the doe population affects your deer's ability to reach maximum potential. On average, bucks should reach maximum antler growth at year 6.5. However, in the spots where we have seen large numbers of does in relation to bucks, we have actually seen our deer peaking at year 4.5 and even sometimes 3.5. So why is that? Well, as you stop to think about it, it's actually quite simple. What happens is during the rut, if you've got a lot of does that are trying to be bred by the small number of bucks, the does can't be bred in the first estrus cycle. So what happens is the bucks work really hard through the course of the month of November, and they're constantly in this rut mode. And then as soon as that's starting to ramp down, because they weren't able to breed all of the other does, the does start to come into a second estrus, the ones that weren't bred before. And now those bucks have to then track those does from the beginning of December through the middle of December. So this means that your bucks are actively seeking does and in rut mode for the better part of 2 months. Now all of a sudden you're sitting there with a buck that's going into the dead of winter trying to get itself recovered, and sometimes they just can't. So the food that they take in is focused more on getting their body built back up, and more of it goes towards that than antler growth. You want a short and explosive rut, and the only way to do that is to have fewer number of does and more bucks trying to compete for those does. Again, we go deeper into this in that video I mentioned, so at the end, make sure you watch that video. So when do we like to shoot does? Well, we prefer to shoot them early, but we will shoot them all year long, including in the rut. I've spent enough time letting does walk by during the rut, thinking that maybe a buck is following them, and many times there wasn't a buck following because of everything we just described above. Therefore, what we've started to do is we get the opportunity during the rut, we shoot the doe. Worst case scenario is you shoot the doe, she dies nearby, and if she is hot, she's bringing all those bucks into that area to check on them. The deer are going to still go by. So if you're seeing mostly does, you're having boring ruts, or your bucks are peaking early, those are signs you need to shoot more does. After all, they taste just as good. Hope you liked this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell to be notified of new videos, leave us a comment below on any questions that you may have, and make sure that you click right here to watch that video where we go into more detail about the rut. Thanks for watching.